Greetings out there, and welcome to another excellent episode of Dapper's Playhouse. I'm your excellent host, Dapper, here to celebrate Spooktober with all the creepy, spooky, funny, seasonal related stuff. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
I bought this pumpkin at my local market.
That's a gourd.
It looks like an octopus.
That's a gourd. It's in the squash family, but it's not a pumpkin. What say you folks? That's no pumpkin. How awesome is that? Contest over. Oh my god, what if you saw that galloping at you down the trail? He needs to be holding the pumpkin though. And then he needs to throw it at somebody. That is badass. I'm sorry, that's a badass horse. That's a badass costume. You heard it here first, folks.
The real true crime case behind the movie When a Stranger Calls. You may have seen the movie, but if you haven't, a babysitter begins receiving cryptic phone calls asking her if she has checked on the children before learning that the calls are coming from inside the house. Since October, you guys have asked me to cover the most terrifying true crime cases I know, and all I can say is, be careful what you ask for. Janet Chrisman was an 8th grader. Only 13 years old, only a few days from her 14th birthday on March 18th, 1950. Janet was a responsible, hardworking girl, and you can really tell this from her character, since this night was a Saturday night. There was a huge school dance that all of Janet's friends were attending, but Janet chose to not go to the school dance and actually babysit that night to make, a little extra money. Janet only babysat for 2 families, the Romack family and the Muller family. And that night at 7:30 p.m., Janet was going to be babysitting the Romack's 3-year-old son, Gregory. The house was in a rural, isolated area on the outskirts of town, and that night was a cold, stormy night. It's the setting straight out of a horror movie.
So it's always a cold, stormy night.
For Ed Romack told Janet to keep the door locked, keep the blinds shut, keep the porch light off, and don't open the door for anyone. But if you do open the door, make sure it's someone you know by turning the porch light on first. Ed Romack even put his shotgun by the door and even showed Janet how to use it before leaving with his wife for the night to go have a game night with some of their family friends. At around 10:30, a call came into police. On the other line was a woman frantically screaming for help and for the police to come quick before the call just ended. Unfortunately, the police were not able to trace the call or even find out who was on the other line. Around the exact same time, the couple that Janet was babysitting for actually called the house, just to check in, but Janet did not pick up. The phone was actually busy, and what we know now is that's because Janet was on the other line with the police calling for help. The Romacks returned home around 1:35 in the morning. They saw that the porch light was on and also that the blinds were open, which was odd. And then they noticed the front door was unlocked. When they entered the home, there was 13-year-old Janet laying on the ground in a pool of her own blood. She had been beaten, strangled, and essayed. They quickly run upstairs to check on their 3-year-old son, and luckily he was okay. It appears that he had actually slept through the entire attack. The police were immediately called, and this was the scene. The front and the back door were both unlocked. A window that was near the back door had been smashed from the outside, but it was smashed with an object that the family said was always kept inside. Janet had been beaten and strangled with objects that the assailant had found from inside the home, and also the shotgun that was left by the front door had not been touched. So this is my personal opinion, just my theory on what I think happened. I do not think that this was a random attack by a burglar who came in and saw Janet. I think that this was done by someone she knew. Remember, the house was in a rural, isolated area, so I think that this person that came to the house did it because they knew Janet was there, especially since nothing was stolen. I believe that someone that Janet knew came to the front door and knocked on the door. This would explain why the porch light was on and why the blinds were open, because Janet was checking to see if it was someone she knew, and then it was, so she let them in. And then that person attacked Janet by surprise, which is why the shotgun was not touched. And then afterwards, the assailant grabbed an item from inside the house, unlocked the back door, smashed the window to make it look like staged the scene like this was a random break-in. So actually, some of the investigators on the scene from day one did believe this theory, but the other half of the investigators actually believed that this was a random attacked by someone who randomly broke into the house, and they came in from the house from the smashed window. So the investigators have believed that Janet had been attacked by someone she knew, and that person had come through the front door. We're trying to find out who knew that Janet would be babysitting at the Romack house that evening, and also who might want to hurt her. Only one name kept coming up, and that was this man right here, Robert Mueller. Do you remember how I told you that Janet only babysat for 2 families? Well, Robert Mueller was the father from the other family that Janet would babysit for.
Interesting name.
And apparently, Janet kind of got the creeps from this guy, and apparently she wasn't the only one. Pretty much all girls just kind of got this creepy vibe from Robert. And also, apparently Robert also made some really creepy, odd comments about Janet's body before she died. And remember, Janet is only a 13-year-old girl. Robert was also one of the only people that knew that Janet was going to be babysitting at the Romacks that evening, because he actually called her that morning to see if Janet could babysit for him, because he was also going to be at that game night that the Romacks were going to be at. Janet told Robert that she could not babysit for him because she was going to be babysitting for the Romacks. Apparently, Ed Romack and Robert Mueller had been friends since high school. Now, I know what you're thinking. If Robert was also at this game night, then he could not have been the person that killed Janet. Well, apparently, Robert disappeared from game night for 2 whole hours because he said that he was going to meet up with a doctor that was going to be taking care of his son. Investigators went and they found this doctor, and the doctor said that he did not meet up with Robert that night. And the suspicious red flags pointing directly at Robert Mueller only continued from there. The morning after the murder, Robert actually asked Ed if he could come over and help him clean up the crime scene that was now his living room. This is weird for a lot of reasons, but especially because it had not yet been released to the public that Janet had been murdered at the Romack's house. The only people that knew about it were the Romacks, the police, and Janet's family. And also, of course, whoever killed her. Robert also told his buddy Ed that he had his own theory about what happened to Janet. He said that it was unlikely that the attacker came in through the window, that the attacker was probably someone that Janet knew and trusted, and the easiest way to get Janet to open the door and let this person in is if the attacker told her that Ed had sent them over to get poker chips. Tell me that does not sound like a confession, because why would someone need poker chips? If they were at a game night,
Poker
Robert
chips.
Mueller was interrogated for hours and even passed a polygraph test. But remember, this is a polygraph test from 1950, so I don't 100% trust it. I don't even 100% trust polygraphs from 2024. The investigators actually brought their evidence to a judge and a grand jury to see if they had enough evidence to arrest Robert Mueller for killing Janet Christman. But remember, the investigators have 2 theories about what they think possibly happened. So they presented both theories to the grand jury, and the grand jury could not decide what theory they believed more. So Robert Mueller was never charged with killing Janet Christman. He ended up moving to Arizona after this because his reputation was, I guess, tarnished. Everyone in the area believed that he was guilty. Even his friends, the Romacks, believed that he was guilty. He ended up dying in 2006 at the age of 83 years old. I'm really interested in your guys' theories on this case. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to believe with my theory and also the main theory that Robert Mueller got away with killing Janet Christman. But if you guys have any other theories, please let me know. You guys are always coming up with things I would never come up with in my head. If you like this video, thank you so much. Please let me know what case you want to see me cover next. Until then, I love you guys so, so much. If you're doing anything this weekend, please stay safe. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the next video.
It's a great movie, When a Stranger Calls. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Based on that story. What in the hell?
I'm the planet Earth!
Oh my lord.
We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home.
Drugs are bad, okay?
This is an image that evokes mystery. The man in the background appears unusual,
Oh.
but what most people didn't realize until they zoomed
Who's that
in
look like, y'all?
was how much he resembled Freddy Krueger.
That's Freddy Krueger.
One legendary figure from horror films that will live on in history is Freddy Krueger. He starred in a number of remakes and sequels after making his feature film debut in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That is creepy as
The
hell.
film's director, Wes Craven,
His face
said
looks
in an
all
interview
wrinkly.
that he saw a story about a family from Cambodia who were traveling to the United States. However, after that, their son began to experience nightmares and informed his parents that he needed to be awake. The person in this picture appears to be Freddy Krueger's twin, since he is wearing a fedora similar to the one he wears in the movie series. Some have even noted that the person's skin appears to be identical to Freddy's.
He's all wrinkly and shitty and burnt up looking. Check out. Wouldn't that be a dream come true? Imagine having the whole movie theater to yourself. Oh, get over it. They don't allow face paint. It's all they want your damn money. What do they care what you wear? It's more and more rules every day.
Chances are, your house is currently decorated with an assortment of pumpkins, many of which have faces carved into their flesh and a light flickering in their empty gutted cavities. But how did this odd practice become a Halloween tradition? Well, it likely all goes back to a drunken Irishman named Stingy Jack. Because of his sinful lifestyle, Jack was refused entrance into heaven. But hell didn't want him either, as he already tricked the devil several times when the Dark Lord had tried to take his soul several years earlier. So Jack was condemned to roam the night with only a hollowed-out rutabaga containing a small ember to light his way. This story from an 1836 Dublin newspaper is likely where the modern jack-o'-lantern got its name. And sightings of will-o'-the-wisps, ghostly lights seen flickering over peat bogs, swamps, and marshes by travelers at night, were often said to be sightings of Jack and his root vegetable candle. By the way, will-o'-the-wisps are real, but we now know that they're the result of various chemicals like methane, which are created by decaying plant matter and spontaneously ignite on contact with oxygen. People living in Ireland and much of what we now refer to as Great Britain had long celebrated Samhain, a Gaelic festival commemorating the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. It was believed to be a time when the barrier between our world and the spirit world thinned, allowing spirits to spill over. The souls of the dead were thought to visit their previous homes looking for food, and it wasn't long before people began dressing in ghostly costumes and going from house to house in search of tasty treats. Gee, I wonder what that reminds me of. As this was a pre-electrified world, revelers would frequently carry carved root vegetables with coals or candles inside of them as makeshift lanterns. Some of these carved lanterns were also placed on windowsills to ward off spirits intent on entering the house. Later, when Irish immigrants landed in the United States, they brought these legends with them and began carving jack-o'-lanterns from the larger and more readily available winter squash. The most popular of which is the pumpkin. Happy Halloween, everybody. Stay curious, my friends.
The more you know. That's pretty fascinating stuff, though. Oh, yeah, look at this. I don't know, what do you think? One looks like he wants no smoke. One looks like he wants some smoke. I wonder what's gonna happen.
I want you to guess the top 10 horror icons based on their kill count. Who has had the most kills?
Oh shit.
You don't have to give me a specific, just try to guess who's in that top 10.
Michael Myers?
Yes, Michael Myers is number 2 at 170 kills throughout the Halloween franchise.
Damn, I did not know that.
And it's still
That was
counting.
that high. Yeah, I didn't think it was that
Still
high.
growing.
Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger's number 8 on the list at 60 plus for the Nightmare franchise.
Leatherface?
No, not on the top 10 actually.
No, he didn't
13,
kill that
Jason?
many.
Jason Voorhees, number 3 on the list at 163 kills throughout that franchise.
Ghostface, does that count though? That's multiple people.
Ghostface does count, but Ghostface, I see what you're saying. That's a good point, but Ghostface did not make the top 10. Maybe
Okay.
he'll creep in there once the 7th movie comes
You
out.
shouldn't be in the
really?
same sentence.
Yeah,
with these
Pinhead.
guys.
Yeah, Pinhead, that's what I meant.
Number 1.
Really?
Wow.
Number 1. With at least 246, maybe up to 321. There was like one scene where it killed a lot of people, so that really helped his body count.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pinhead number 1.
Pinhead is
All right.
badass.
Not Candyman.
No, not Candyman. Close.
Is there like monsters on there too?
Think some dolls.
Oh, Annabelle? No.
No.
Chucky.
Chucky's actually on the list at number 4. Actually creeped up on the list because of the TV show that recently come out, but yeah, he's at 100 plus got the Child's Play franchise, with including the TV show now.
Name. More Saw.
Yeah, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Yes, number 6. 86 kills throughout the Saw franchise. I know Saw X came out as well, so Jigsaw might move up in the near future, but as of now, yeah, number 6.
Alright, so who do I got so far? Do I have 1 through 6?
You're missing 4. I can't see you really.
No, he's missing 5.
Yeah, I don't see
Oh, I get you.
We'll give you one more guess.
Predator.
No.
Alien.
No.
No.
Jaws, the shark? Oh, that's a good guess, but no.
Alright, yeah.
Alright, so you're missing number 5, which was Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, going way back.
Plus, mainly from the train crash from the movie in the 30s that racked up his kills
Way
to over
back.
100 there. Number 7, Victor Crowley from the Hatchet
Ah,
franchise. in
that's a
64,
good one.
which
Few
little fun
people know
fact
about
there,
that, though.
He actually played Jason in the later movies in the Friday the 13th franchise as well. Kind of cool. 9, Angela Baker from the Sleepaway Camp franchise at
Wow.
55. And 10, Leprechaun from the
Oh,
Leprechaun
shit,
franchise at
Leprechaun.
50+ as well.
Forgot about him totally. There's me fucking gold.
Yeah, like one of the ones I knew.
The little
Yeah,
bastard's
you were
badass too. That was interesting. Let me know your thoughts.
Hey, tell me what your costume is, Derek.
I'm driving me nuts.
You're driving me nuts. That's gotta be uncomfortable though.
I just found out that this doll is haunted. So I got this doll about a month ago, and when I bought it, I did not know it was haunted. I bought it because I wanted a replica of the real Annabelle doll, and it turns out there is an attachment named Liz. She's an older woman with blonde hair. I don't know anything else about her,
Okay.
so let's find out. Can you say your name loud and clear? What's so funny? She seems nice. I think she might have been the one that knocked one of my Lola plushies on a live stream in front of hundreds of people. I thought it was Lola, but she doesn't really do things like that anymore. So, was that you? Liz! Liz! Yes, hi! I haven't been home in 3 weeks, so I have not had the time to sit and connect with her.
Yeah, do that.
Liz,
Do
are
that.
you kind? I think this doll was hers at some point, and it was passed around in the family. Did I wonder? Was that Lola? Who was that knocked on the ceiling? You talking? Okay. What year did you pass away? I thought I heard 95. There's something with a transplant. Is that how you passed? Yeah. Either she needed a transplant or she was giving someone one and there was a complication. Was it a kidney transplant? Let me know what else I should ask her.
Okay, that's pretty badass.
I don't know what the problem is. I'm usually great with kids.
It's that shitty ass impression. She's scared to death. Stop. Snorting shit.
Fucking looking at me.
Okay,
You hear me?
I do.
Look at me.
Good lord. Well, what do you know, folks? Just like that, come to an end of another spooky Playhouse session. I hope it was everything you hoped it could be. If not, as always, we'll try twice as hard tomorrow. So, like if you could, share if you could, subscribe if you haven't. Any new subscribers, thank you much. Please keep on keeping on. And if you can't be good, be bad. And remember, you're never too old to play. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Be good now.